It was one of those quiet mornings when the world feels too big for a small child. A cold wind brushed through the narrow streets of Maplewood, carrying the faint sound of children laughing somewhere in the distance. A sound that didn't belong to Lily anymore. She was only 7, but her tiny hands clenched the straps of her faded pink backpack like they were her only protection. The road to school, just half a mile long, felt endless. Every morning she walked it alone, her head bowed, her small feet trying to move faster past the tall boys who waited near the corner store, whispering things she didn't understand but knew weren't kind. That day, she stopped halfway, her lip trembling, her heart racing so fast it hurt. She looked at the row of motorcycles lined outside the local cafe. Big, loud machines that gleamed under the morning sun. The men who owned them looked rough and intimidating, all leather jackets and tattoos, their laughter booming across the parking lot. But Lily, in her innocence and desperation, didn't see danger. She saw strength. She saw safety. And with her tiny voice shaking but determined, she approached them. Can you walk me to school?" she asked. If this story already moved something in your heart, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, Everyday Kindness. Your support helps us keep telling true, heartwarming stories that remind the world how powerful kindness can be. For a moment, silence fell across the cafe. The men exchanged glances, unsure if they heard her right. The smallest among them, a grizzled man in his 50s with kind eyes behind dark sunglasses, crouched down to meet her gaze. His name was Jack. Once a soldier, now the leader of the biker group known as the Iron Souls. He noticed how Lily's shoes were scuffed, how her knees were scratched, how her voice quivered like she had been holding in tears for too long. "Walk you to school," he repeated, his voice softer than anyone expected from a man like him. Lily nodded. "I'm scared," she whispered. That was all it took. No one asked for details, no one questioned why. By the time Lily reached the school gates that morning, she was no longer alone. 10 motorcycles followed her, engines rumbling like a protective wall of thunder. The bikers didn't ride close. They walked beside her, helmets under their arms, every eye in town watching as the sight unfolded. Parents paused mid-conversation. Teachers stepped outside in disbelief, and even the boys who used to tease her froze in place. For the first time in months, Lily walked with her head held high. The story could have ended there, but kindness has a way of echoing far beyond the moment it begins. The next day, the bikers returned, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. Jack had gone home that night thinking about the fear in Lily's eyes, about how no child should ever feel unsafe walking to school. He rallied his crew and told them, "We ride for her now." And so they did. Every morning, they waited at the corner where Lily's courage first met their compassion. They didn't make noise or draw attention. They just walked beside her, silent and steady, a living reminder that sometimes angels wear leather and ride Harleys. Word spread fast. By the end of the week, the whole town was talking about the biker angels. Reporters showed up, curious about the strange alliance between a little girl and a group of tattooed men. But Jack refused to give interviews. He said it wasn't about fame or attention. It was about making one small soul feel safe again. And when Lily's mother, a tired single mom working double shifts at the diner, came out one morning to thank them with tears streaming down her face, Jack just smiled and said, "You take care of her heart, ma'am. We'll take care of her walk." As weeks turned into months, something beautiful happened. Lily began smiling again. She started drawing pictures at school, of motorcycles and hearts, of men with wings made of metal. The boys who used to tease her now helped carry her books, ashamed of their past cruelty. The teachers noticed her grades improving, her laughter returning. The bikers became local legends, symbols of strength used the right way. Then, one afternoon, tragedy struck the group. Jack suffered a heart attack on the way home after walking Lily to school. The town was shaken and Lily was heartbroken. At his funeral, dozens of motorcycles lined the streets, chrome glinting like tears in the sunlight. The little girl stood beside his casket, clutching a handmade card that read, "Thank you for walking with me." She placed it beside his photo, whispering, "You made me brave." But the story didn't end in sorrow. A week later, something extraordinary happened. When Lily stepped outside for school, the roar of engines filled the morning air once again. Jack's crew was there, every single one of them, waiting for her at the same corner. Only this time, their jackets bore a new patch sewn over their hearts, Jack's promise. They knelt beside her and told her that as long as she needed them, she would never walk alone. From that day on, the Iron Souls became protectors not just of Lily, but of every child in town. They started community rides, organized safety workshops, raised money for school supplies, and volunteered to escort kids walking alone. The same men once judged for their rough looks became heroes. Parents waved at them, teachers thanked them, and children ran to greet them with joy. What began as a scared girl's simple request became a movement, a chain of kindness that united an entire town. Years later, when Lily graduated high school, she gave her valedictorian speech holding a small silver locket with Jack's photo inside. She told her classmates that bravery isn't about being strong. It's about asking for help when you need it and believing that good people still exist in this world. Her words brought the audience to tears. Outside in the parking lot, dozens of motorcycles stood silently, their riders proud and emotional, watching the little girl they once walked to school now walking toward her future. Because of one small act of courage, and a group of strangers who chose compassion over judgment, a town learned what real kindness looks like. It wasn't grand or loud, it was steady, loyal, protective, and it changed lives. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Everyday Keenness, and let the world know that kindness still has the power to change everything. In the comments, write, "I believe in kindness," if you think even one small act of compassion can change a life forever.